Global leaders are calling for new sanctions on Russia as the war in Ukraine continues to claim more lives every day. Joining us this morning is Congressman Jake Auchincloss. We've heard the president call before and now again for saying that Putin is a war criminal, and now calling for a war crimes investigation after seeing even more evidence that Ukrainian civilians are being killed, some with their hands tied behind their backs. How exactly would that investigation work, and does it involve the U.S. in terms of actually being on the ground in Ukraine?
Good morning. The reports and images coming out of Ukraine are appalling, and they reinforce weeks of evidence that the Russian forces are committing war crimes. They are targeting civilians. They're making no distinction between those civilians and combatants, and they are using terror and executions as a method of war, and they need to be held to account for it. That happens through the International Criminal Court. There needs to be an independent investigation, and that obviously takes some time. In the short term, we need to use this as a clarion call to step up our support for the Ukrainians, and we do that in two ways. One, we help them move faster. In war, speed kills. They need to be able to make decisions and to act on actionable intelligence more quickly than the Russian invaders can, so that they can demobilize and demoralize the Russians. And second, we have got to coordinate global energy sanctions. Russia is going to accumulate almost $350 billion of currency this year from its energy exports. That is funding its war machine. And we need to work with our European allies to cut off their gas, coal, and oil exports.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy because the president is calling for more sanctions. Of course, there were already sanctions being imposed on Russia, and you saw their currency, the ruble, take a nosedive. And yet, Putin is using every economic trick in the book to kind of reinforce their currency and their economics in order to continue to fund this war. In the meantime, though, are the sanctions that are in place now, are they actually working? Will more do anything to slow down Putin's mission here?
Yes, they are working. They are also not sufficient. The central bank sanctions in particular were unexpected by the Kremlin and have been devastating to their ability to manage their macroeconomy. The central bank sanctions, though, when paired with energy export sanctions, would really be the devastating blow to the Russian war machine, because it would both prevent them from accessing their existing reserves of hard currency and also then prevent them from generating new hard currency. So it would be a 1-2 punch. We've done half of it. Now is the time to do the other half.
In the meantime, another component to this is you were saying on Twitter that you'd like to see China be compelled to take a stand against Russia. Historically, of course, they've been friendly, to say the least. But you admit, if we do compel China to act in some meaningful way that would support Ukraine, that would support the West, it would have a significant impact on Western nations. Just how important and how delicate is China's involvement in all of this?
It's critical. China is 10 times more integrated and more important to the global economy than is Russia. And for the 21st century, China has been telling the world that it wants to be treated as a great nation, indeed as a superpower. Great nations do not sit on the sidelines when atrocities are being committed. Great nations do not look the other way. Great nations take a stand, and we need to compel China to take a stand against Russian atrocities. And that means credibly and comprehensively threatening secondary sanctions on Chinese financial and other economic institutions for providing a lifeline to the Kremlin. And we should be candid and transparent with our constituents here in the United States and in our European allies that is going to affect daily goods and our supply chains. But it's a sacrifice that we must make to defend the free world.
I have to let you go, but I do want to ask you, President Zelensky had classified some of the atrocities that are happening in Ukraine as some of the most historic atrocities. I mean, things we have never seen before in modern warfare. Do you think that was hyperbole, or do you think that was a fair assessment of the civilians being killed, the weapons being used in Ukraine, and other alleged war crimes?
The images and the reporting clearly indicate war crimes. Now, we're going to have an independent investigation because we're going to follow due process under The Hague. Sadly, these are not unique in the annals of modern warfare. We saw it in the Balkans. We've seen it in the Sahel in Africa. We've seen it in Burma. It is sadly still common in the modern age. And yet each account and each event needs to be treated independently and needs to be held to account.
Understood. Congressman Jake Auchincloss, thank you. Catherine, over to you.